here's all the numbers, right? So 2014, here's the questions. I told you it was number 4. So, okay. There's always 4 FRQs. Here's number 4. Number 4 is talking about biogeochemical cycles, and it's talking about atmosphere, terrestrial sinks, all this stuff. So this is like your foldable kind of things. Anyway, there's the questions. So you could print that out, whatever. Not only is there questions, I'm going to show you where the key is. So if you look right beside of it, it says scoring guidelines. That's the key. That's what you want. Down here, it has like sample responses. That does not mean they're perfect. That means that when we're grading, the grader says, I want a 4, I want a 7 out of 10, and we give them to them. So you don't want to look at the sample responses. You can if you want to, but they're not perfect. The key is perfect, so why don't you study the key, okay? So let's look at the scoring guidelines. So I'm going to go through here. There's a lot of pages. Don't print all the pages because you just really want number 4, right? So I'm scrolling, looking for number 4. There it comes. So here's where number 4 starts. So you could just print pages 10, 11, and 12, looks like. Talks about the atmosphere is a carbon reservoir. So that's a sink for carbon, right? This is the question. The bold is the question. Describe a biological process by which carbon is removed from the atmosphere and converted to organic molecules. I mean, you see that's photosynthesis, right? Okay, cool. And then down here it says very clearly, 1 point for correct description, with or without an equation. That means you could give the equation for photosynthesis or not. And it tells you an example. So you as a human being, you need to get this into your head. That's where you're getting the point from. Like, that's the answer. See? Part 2, describe a biological process by which carbon is converted from organic molecules to a gas. That's respiration. Yeah? I'm not talking about anything crazy here. 1 point for the correct description. And it goes into how you get the point. And here are some answers. Okay? So a student can earn the point without explicitly identifying the process if an accurate description is provided. No point is earned for listing the word as an answer. So that means if you just write down respiration, you don't get the point, right? The answer must identify the form of carbon being released into the atmosphere. So that means that, like, these are all good answers. So why don't you just pick one and learn it? So, like that first little bullet right here, that would get you that 1 point. The respiration breaks down the glucose and converts it to CO2 in the atmosphere. That's all you have to say for that one. Very, very straightforward. Now notice this key is going to give you like all the right answers, and you only get to give one. So it's kind of like a little buffet. You're at the buffet. Oh, I think I feel real comfortable talking about respiration, making CO2. So I'm just going to pick that one. So you don't have to memorize the whole thing. Just memorize enough that you get the answer. All right, so B says oceans and terrestrial systems are also important carbon reservoirs. And then part 1 says, here or I, explain how atmospheric carbon is incorporated into 2 ocean sinks. 2 points, 1 point for each description of carbon incorporation. Only the first 2 descriptions can earn points. So do you see how there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? You only have to learn 2. So what people will do, most people will do, they'll print these pages out. They'll take their highlighter and they'll highlight that 2 that they want. And I think that's real smart. We go on to part I here. It's 1 point for the correct identification. So there's, 10 choices or 8 choices. I didn't count them. So pick one and highlight that one. So you don't have to memorize the whole thing. You just have to memorize enough. So be very careful and start looking and reading this now. Get a highlighter, and it looks like I got some emails. Sorry. Go ahead. So anyway, and then part C, 2 points, and there's a bunch of different choices. You're picking 2. All right. So no worries. I'm going to open up one more for you. Let's go to the older one, 2000. If you look at 2000, like if you scroll all the way to the bottom, it stops at 2003. Don't let that scare you. At the top, it's right here, see? So I'm clicking, I'm finding 2000. And there's going to be your question. I'm going to go ahead and go to the scoring guidelines. It was 2000, number 3, and that number is on Blackboard. So if I scroll down to number 3, what number am I on? That's question 3. So there's where it starts. And notice it has lots of lists. You're just picking. See, look at all these acceptable things. So it looks like you need 3 of them. So pick 3. Okay. So These are, like I said, these are really big. These are really big lists. Don't let that intimidate you. Okay, just pick them however many. So I'm basically giving you the questions and I'm giving you the answer key. And you're going to walk up in here. And there are 3 questions. If I go back to Blackboard and show you, there are 3 questions, and I'm picking 2 of them. So if you just want to study 2, what people think is if I just study 2 of these, I have a 67% chance of getting them. Like that's what people's logic is. That's actually not right. You only have a 50% chance of having both of your questions picked. Would you like me to explain the logic? You ready? You only study 2 of them, right? For sure, I will pick one of the 2. What are the odds that that second one is the one I picked? 50%. So you need to study on 3, or you could play like FRQ roulette, whatever. But please, you already saw that the multiple choice is like impossible to get 100 on. This is very possible to get 100 on, right? That's right, you had the key. And so I always keep these. I hang them up. That's what the little Captain Planets and things are. And then the Lorax and Smokey the Bear. I hang these up, but I always keep them. So if you should not do well, I will have it in my drawer under your name where I gave you the question and the key, and then you got a 2 out of 20 on it. Like that's the thing. I've had a conference before, and that went down. And I just pulled it out. I keep them on for the whole semester. So I will study this. This test is going to be on Monday. So